Hi, good morning. My name is Utsman Ayadili, and I have to say, Happy New Year. So, along with millions of people the world over, I just watched the season finale of Stranger Things, and in one word, I have to say, epic. Now, this journey started in 2016 for some, and some joined along the road. But for me, watching the show as a Nigerian definitely hits differently. And I have to say, this show isn't about hype, it is about impact. And you can see it from the millions and millions of people watching and reviewing the final season of Stranger Things. Now, these are my top 10 moments from the season finale of Stranger Things, ranked by what stayed with me when the screen went black. So, let's talk about it. At number 10, we have Suck My Fat One. Now, throughout the series, we all hated Vecna for what he was doing to Hawkins and everybody. And throughout the series, only two people were able to tell Vecna to his face that, look, we don't like you. The first one was Max, where she gave him the middle finger. And the second person has to be Derek. Now, initially, when we were introduced to Derek, I really did not like him because he was trying to escape while they were trying to rescue him. However, at the end of the day, he was actually the first person to actually give Vecna the middle finger and also to tell him to eat my fat one. I mean, it takes a whole lot of courage. And if you notice, that particular moment was the moment where Vecna was like, no, I have to go into this cave and deal with this kid. So, Derek, thank you for telling Vecna to eat your fat one. Okay, at number 9, we have Holly taking charge with Eyes on Me to other kids. I mean, that moment was epic because she has been through Vecna's memories with Max, so she understood what it was the first time she went through those memories, and Max telling her that Vecna was not going to hurt her in those memories. So she knew in that moment that all these kids were going through these memories for the first time, and there is a slight chance that they might get distracted or disturbed by what they are seeing in Vecna's memory. And then she just said those words, eyes on me. Even when Derek was about to get distracted by what he was seeing, by the memories he was seeing, she still took charge and she was still like, Derek, eyes on me. I think that was one moment that really sums up Holly in Stranger Things. At number 8, we have Nancy Wheeler agreeing to be bait in the fight against the Mind Flayer. Every season since Stranger Things started, we've been seeing a new Nancy every other season. I think Nancy's growth in Stranger Things is one of the most fascinating because she went from that little lovey-dovey girlie into primetime Rambo up onto the point where she's offering herself as bait. I mean, nobody was going to take the opportunity, but she did. You know, with all her firearms, with guns, with ammunitions, and then you are wondering, what happened to the Nancy that was all lovey-dovey for Steve Harrington in season 1? But then, that just shows you the growth that she has had throughout the whole series, and that is why Nancy Wheeler offering herself up as bait, I think that is awesome, and that is why it comes up at number 8. At number 7, we have Socket Armstrong. Now, We all know Neil Armstrong is the first man to step on the moon. When the party got into that dimension that had the mind flayer in, which Vecna found, Nancy does this make us space travelers? To which Mike replies, more like interdimensional space travelers. And then Lucas delivers one of the most epic lines for me. He says, "Suck this Armstrong. I mean, I know you found the moon, but we have found something else that beats stepping on the moon." And I think that was funny, and that's why that comes in at my number 7. At number 6, Vecna confronting his demons and entering the cave. You know, I still feel that like one of the reasons why he had to do that was because he was pissed at the fact that Derek gave him the middle finger and then he shot his first one. But everybody has a demon that they are fighting. I mean, the whole party are trying to fight Vecna, but Vecna as well, he has his own demons, and entering that cave after the kids to confront his own demon and to see how this whole journey started for him, I think was one moment in the movie that we all needed to see, because we all didn't know how and why he turned into what he turned into. But getting into that cave, be like, yes, I have faced my own demon, and it is time for me to achieve what I initially set out to achieve. So that was a turning point, and big ups to Vecna for fighting his own demon. At number 5, we have Hopper telling Eleven to fight. Now, the plan Kali had was for Eleven and Kali to stay back. However, Hopper was trying to tell her that, look, we know if you stay alive, they are still going to come find you. However, we can figure things out together. We can get you a family. We can get you to live a normal life. You know, I think that moment was one moment in which Eleven really needed, because the plan of Kali was to make everything go away. However, Hopper was able to talk to her and let her know, look, you are surrounded by people that love you. Yes, you are surrounded by your friends, and you're surrounded by people that want the best for you. So come on, Vecna is evil, but you are even more powerful. So fight and make sure you come out on top, and don't give in to Kali's plan of killing yourself in the upside down. I think that was a really powerful moment for Stranger Things and for 11. Number 4 of my favorite moments in the season finale of Stranger Things has to be Jonathan saving Steve Harrington. I mean, with everything they've gone through, trying to win Nancy's heart. As a Nigerian though, I probably would have let Steve die and then just have Nancy all to myself. However, it just tells the story of redemption that Stranger Things has been trying to tell. That is a really important moment in terms of building friendship, in terms of redemption, and that is why it's at number 4. At my number 3 moment from the season finale, I have Vecna surrounded by every member of the party. I think that moment was really emotional because everybody thought he had died, and then he started coughing, and then the camera pans to Joyce, and I think it was really important for Joyce to deliver the final blow, because think of what Vecna has made Joyce go through from season 1 to the point everybody thought she was mad, but she knew what was happening. Like, she was like one of the few people in the whole series that were really aware, and that moment where she delivered the final blow to Vecna, I think that was pure cinema. I think that was a top moment for Stranger Things, and that is why it comes up at number 3. At number 2, we have Mike and 11's final moment. I think Mike saving 11 when she escaped from the facility was actually the beginning and the turning point of Stranger Things. And their love story from season 1 has to be one that is beautiful, knowing because 11 basically learns life through Mike. She learns friendship, she learns love, she learns care, and then Hopper took over and then taught her so many things about life as well. But that 11 and Mike situation is one that is different. It's child love. It's two guys who have known each other from their childhood and then loving each other all the way, and then getting one final moment together before 11 decides to do what she wanted to do. I think that was priceless, and I think it was a fitting goodbye for the both of them. So yeah, Mike and 11 getting a final moment in the season finale definitely comes up as number 2 of my favorite moments from the season finale of Stranger Things. At number 1 of my favorite moments from the season finale of Stranger Things has to be the rebuild. Now, the rebuild is a combination of scenes and events that happen at the end, which just feels perfect. First, from Hawkins rebuilding itself from the ashes of the Upside Down and Mind Flayer and Vecna, to Steve becoming a coach. Who would have thought? And then having Derek as one of his players. That is just like Steve and Dustin 2.0, if you think about it. And then to the party graduating with Dustin as valedictorian. Who would have thought? But then he was always one of the smartest in the series. So yeah, that felt right. And then one scenario that I never thought I'd see again, which was Hopper back as being the police chief. I mean, that was amazing. And then Hopper going on to propose to Joyce. I think that has been a long time coming. We all knew that was going to happen eventually. You know, that was another moment in the review that actually makes perfect sense. And then also we have that moment with Robin, Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan on the rooftop are going to always come together once in a while. You know, that was amazing. That was a fitting goodbye for all 4 of them, because obviously they are older than the other guys, and then they are more along, they are further along in life than them. So they're making a plan that probably that we all know might not happen, but it felt like a perfect goodbye to all 4 characters. And then one final game, Dungeons and Dragons, with Max also playing. Stranger Things started with all of them playing that game, and then it felt right for them to play one last game. And then we have Mike, the storyteller, telling us, giving us hints about the future of each character. I think that was pretty amazing. And then finally, piece that makes the rebuild awesome is the passing of the torch to Holly and her friends. You know, where once the party were done playing D&D, Holly and her friends, they come in, they pick up the torch, and they start playing their own. I mean, everything, synchronizing all of this just feels really perfect watching, and that is why the review comes at number 1 on my top moments from the season finale, Stranger Things. Now, these are my top 10 moments. What are your top 10 moments from the season finale of Stranger Things? And until next time, my name is still Uthman Ayedele, and